Welcome to Gentle Anchor, a podcast hosted by mom and son, Michele and Noah. No topic too tender. We talk with honesty, curiosity, and zero taboo.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Gentle Anchor Podcast. I'm Michele.
And I'm Noah.
We're happy you're here. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit of a heavier kind of episode. Since it's October, and October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we thought we would take a little journey into breast cancer. And since I'm a survivor, we thought we'd talk about that journey. Not only bring awareness to a really great cause, but also talk about what that looked like in our family and how it affected us. And also going along with that, we thought it would be a really good time to kind of talk about grief. And Noah and Tabby have both lost both of their grandmas, my mom and my husband's mom. And they were both actually within a 6-month period. And so we thought we would talk about that.
Sorry, my hair looks stupid.
It does not. Talk about that and kind of how those two things go together and stuff. So, but before we do that, Noah is going to talk to us about those socials.
Socials.
Yes.
Socials include the Instagram, the TikTok, the Facebook, all Gentle Anchor Podcast,
YouTube,
and then the Spotify and the Apple Podcasts. Again, reiterating the fact that it's all free. So like, comment, subscribe for us. If you like the conversations that you're listening to, go ahead and click likes. It'll definitely help spread us across a little bit more and reach other people who might be looking to hear what we have to say. So
yeah, and
y'all.
Yes, thank you, Noah. I also found out that if you are looking for our podcast anywhere, it helps if you Google search it, or if you are on like YouTube or the TikTok or Instagram or any of those socials and you search it, it actually makes it come up more for other people. So do that too. Help us out. And thank you for your comments. I know there's been a couple comments, and I just want to say thank you to you guys for doing that. We love it, and keep them coming because they're awesome. We love the interaction. So we're going to start with that drift check, Noah. How's it going?
Gucci gang.
That's it. That's all you got?
That's all I got for y'all this week.
You got no drift. You got nothing to check in. Okay. That's
not
okay.
A clue. Not
Sometimes,
an answer.
Okay. Sometimes you don't.
Although I learned a new game, I'm going to have to teach you that. That's all I got for you.
Okay. That's all right. I'd love to learn it when you come home for Christmas.
Got you.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. Had a pretty laid back weekend. Your dad came home, so that was nice.
Nice.
We went out on a date. That was fun.
Fun.
Yeah. So that's it, really. Nothing. We talked about me grading papers. That was fun.
Always fun.
Yeah. Other than that, I haven't done nothing. I've done nothing. Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, we're going to get into it. Noah, we're just going to kind of talk about this, and I would love to, for you, if you have questions, ask those questions, or if there's something, just always jump in and say what you want to say, right?
Sounds good.
Okay. I am a breast cancer survivor. Yay, mommy. This is 12 years. I think I did the math. I was diagnosed in...
Clock it.
12 years, I know. I was diagnosed in March of 2013. And I think Noah and I kind of touched on that. We were talking about my education, and we talked about when I dropped out of school. I was going to get my degree for linguistics. I started in 2012, found out in March of 2013 that I got breast cancer. And I found it myself, and it was on my right side. And it kind of felt out of whack. I had Dad feel it too. And I was like, he's like, yeah, that doesn't feel right. And I was like, okay. We went to the doctor and we had that checked out, and they did a biopsy. It came back positive for breast cancer. Yeah, boo. It was kind of a fast moving thing. I remember them telling me I went in to get to the doctor in the beginning of March, like mid-March, I guess it was. Then I got the answer that it was breast cancer on March 29th. You happen to remember those things. It's just how it is. And I remember that they did my breast cancer, like the removal, on April, I think it was the 11th. So it was like a 2-week window of when I got diagnosed to when I had surgery. And I remember that my mom, who lived out of town, she lived on the East Coast, she came to visit. But before all that happened, my husband and I had to tell the kids. I knew I had And it was the whole thing going through my whole journey was I knew that I was going to be fine. I got on the phone with my mom and I told her, I said, I'm going to be fine. If you cry about this, I'm going to be really pissed. There's actually going to be no crying at this because I'm going to be fine. I told Dad, I was like, we are 100% positive with this. This is going to be fine. I didn't know anything then. I just knew I was going to be fine. And I
It's a
really,
good mentality to
it
have.
was, and I appreciated.
It's a hard mentality to have, but it's definitely, positive attracts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a good thing to have.
It was. And so the next thing that came was to tell Noah and Tabby, and Noah was 8. I did the math, and Tabby was
Yeah.
9.
I was in what, 4th grade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is now, this was a hard thing because I knew that the kids knew what cancer was. I knew you guys knew what cancer was. Not that you knew what it was, but you had heard the term before and you
Yeah.
knew it was bad, right?
Yeah.
We had that conversation. I was like, we are not using the word cancer. We'll say, Mommy is sick. It's going to be okay. We're going to work through this. And so we sat you guys down and we kind of said, hey,
I remember this vividly.
okay, so why don't you tell it? Do you want to? Or you want me to start and you
Oh,
fill in?
it's your story. I'll tell
That's
you
all
my
right.
I'll tell you my perspective, but you're
Sure.
good.
Okay. I remember just saying, hey, let's talk about this. I said, Mommy's sick, but I'm going to be fine. We just have to, have some surgery and then I have to recover and it'll be okay. And I remember you guys being like, okay, good. And then Tabby, I think it was Tabby, said something like, well, at least it's not cancer. And I was like, well, because I don't lie to you guys, I
Right.
never did.
Right.
And so you brought it up and I was like, well, actually it is. And I think that's when all hell broke loose. That was kind of
All hell broke loose on Tabby's side of the camera.
right.
I was confused out of my mind. I was like, I don't know. I don't understand what this means.
That
And
means
I definitely started crying, but me being 8 years old, I started crying for the
this
wrong
was,
reasons.
yes.
This is kind of a funny story, actually.
It actually is a wonderfully funny story because it was a really tense moment. And Abby was over there like, oh my gosh, it's cancer. And Noah is over there like, starts crying. And why did you start crying?
Every summer we would plan a trip back east where uh our Grammy was, and we had been already like talking about how we were going to be going back to New York, or Pennsylvania where they lived, and like seeing our family. And it was like something that Tabby and I always looked forward to every year. It was just that was our vacation. So Grampy never came out, but Grammy would always come out for our tap recital. What was that, like March?
May.
So first of all, Grammy coming out was already an abnormal time. So we're like, oh, that's a little weird that she's coming out. Maybe she has a surprise for us. There's just something going on, whatever it might be.
Right.
This is the news that we found out. She then proceeds to tell us, hey guys, like it's cancer. And I started bawling my eyes out. They're like, oh, are you okay? I said, I don't know what cancer means, but does that mean we're not going to back Pennsylvania anymore?
And I started laughing. It was
I was just like,
it was such a genuine, cute reaction to such a like somber moment. And so it was really cute.
Yeah, I was more devastated in the fact that I wasn't getting my vacation that summer than I was about hearing that my mom had cancer. Now, again, 8 years old, nobody was even mad about it. Not to this day, I look back, I'm like, that might have been a little stupid of me, but I mean, I was 8 years old. What did I know? That was my genuine reaction. That was,
exactly.
shoot, bro, I don't get Chinese food. What is this?
Right. No, it was a deal. And I understood that. And I think that's why it was so easy for me to, laugh at and and in that moment and stuff. So
I think that Tabby looked over and was like, no, stupid.
yeah.
She's sick. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not the point. It's my vacation that we're taking away here.
Yeah. And I do think that during that journey, it was very difficult for you to understand what was going on as far as like what chemotherapy was and why the head surgery and all that stuff. You were 8 years old, I mean.
Hey, I did win a writing contest thanks to this journey of yours.
We're going to get into that. So hold on to that.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Then my mom came out to visit and she was here for my surgery. And the surgery was, they had to remove my right breast. And then they did a reconstruction at the same time. That was done. And I had like tubes and stuff. And they had like drainage tubes. I used to have, you don't remember that? Yeah. I had drainage tubes.
To be quite fair though, like I don't remember anything of the hospital related side of things. Like I remember you saying you were sick, coming home after chemo, and like Tabby and I were never involved in any of your doctor stuff.
No, No, but the drains, I came home with the drains. I had the
Oh,
drains.
then yeah, I don't remember that.
Remember that. That was for like, I think 3 weeks that I had the drains. And then chemotherapy started in May. The way that chemo went was I had chemo from May to September. And when I talk about my breast cancer journey and what kind of breast cancer I had and all that stuff, I say it, I don't know how to I try not to be, I had ER/PR positive breast cancer, which was, if you're going to get breast cancer, it's the easiest one to have. And so they caught my breast cancer when it was early. It was only, I don't even know, like maybe 6 millimeters, I think, or something like that. It wasn't very big. It was super early. And I had, like I said, ER/PR positive. So I didn't have to have any radiation. I just had, I think it was whatever time frame, 3 months, was it June, July, August, September, 4 months of chemotherapy. And there was 2 different chemotherapy cocktails that they used for my chemotherapy. And so it wasn't easy, but it was easier than some. I mean, and so
Don't discredit the fight that you put up against, the sickness, though, right? Like it's something that, yes, like we're definitely grateful that it was as easy as it was, right? We're definitely grateful for that, but it's still something that had a major impact on your life, a major impact on our lives. You can't discredit the fact that it was something that was difficult and it was not easy, and you did fight to get through it,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
don't discredit yourself in the fact that you still had to fight this illness,
yeah. Thank you.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was hard. Going through chemotherapy wasn't easy because the kids were young and I still had to do things with them and I still had to take care of them. And dad worked out of town. He was away 2 weeks, home 2 weeks. I was still dealing with that while taking care of the kids and stuff. And weeks when he wasn't home and I was having chemo, I had to have help from friends. And I had wonderful, wonderful friends. They were all there for me and they were there for us during
Good
that
food.
time. Yeah, we had a lot of friends bring us food, and we were so grateful for that and stuff, and
It takes a village. Right?
yeah, yeah, it was a hard time. It wasn't easy, and I just think that it doesn't matter really what your journey is. It just matters that if you're willing to talk about it and to bring awareness, and that's really what I wanted to do. We did all the things, like for years. We wore pink for October was like breast cancer awareness in our family, in our circle, right? For years. And so that was my journey. That's how it went. September 24th, which is my friend Natalie's birthday. I'll never forget Natalie's birthday, and I'll never forget that day was the last day of my chemo. I'll put a picture right here of me on my last day of chemo.
Make sure you're holding the picture like this.
Can I get it maybe like that? And I had really great nurses, and I remember their names. Their names were Julie and Candace, and they were amazing, and I loved them. They were so good. I had the biggest memory that I have about, like, not the biggest, but one of the things that I remember vividly about my journey was I had a port for where they put the chemotherapy through, right? And it was right here. And I actually kept it from after they remove it after I have it. And so, yeah. Anyway,
That's weird. I'm
it's
sorry.
cleaned,
That's
and I know it's weird, but
so
it's
you do have
cleaned,
a little
but
baggie, or like
there's a reason I kept it. And here's the reason. When I was having, like, I had such issues with my port. Like, they would try to put the chemo through, or they would try to take blood out of it because they used it for blood, taking blood out and to put the chemo in. And I am not even kidding you. They had such struggles with this stupid port. It was ridiculous. I was like, they'd make me bend over, bend back, move from side to side, like stand up, sit down. Like, it was awful. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And it was every fucking week, every fucking time I went to the doctor, I had it, like, or to get chemo or for whatever, I had this stupid thing, and it was just nuts. It drove me nuts. Anyway, that was my rant about my port. So that's why I kept it. But, I was tired. I did not want to eat. Do you remember that? Like,
you
I had a,
eat cucumbers. That's all I
yep.
remember.
And I drank, dad says I drank a lot of green tea.
Yeah, I think that's when you were drinking all your Snapple too.
I know that I just did not have a very good appetite at all.
Yeah,
Lost a lot of weight, the thing about that though was, like, that's what triggered my journey into nutrition, was my chemotherapy, because the one thing I feel like I had a hard time with was eating. And I remember going to one of my chemo sessions and being like, hey, I don't think I'm eating really well and I could really use some help as to what I should eat. And they're like, sure, we'll send the dietitian down. And they sent the dietitian down, and the dietitian was terrible. She was like, here you go, and hands me these brochures. And that was it. Like, no,
No, like
let me
patient
talk.
interaction or no.
Nothing. And now, like, knowing what I know, obviously, like that's terrible bedside manner for a dietitian. We don't do that. Like, we literally go in, have the conversations with every patient, every cancer patient gets to see a dietitian and have a conversation with them.
It's definitely interesting how, medical stuff has changed over the last
Uh,
15 years,
right? 12 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah.
The
And
new standards, I guess I should say.
yeah, I just think that I was very lucky. I am very grateful. I'm so grateful that the kids, that you and Tabby were as understanding and supportive as you were when I had my hard times. And even though you didn't know that you were doing good things and helping me in the best ways possible, you really did. And I couldn't have asked for a better, two kids at that time, because you guys were just troopers through it all. If somebody had to come and take my place for something, you didn't give me a hard time. You didn't struggle with it. You just said, okay, like, we understand, Mom. Like, you didn't understand really what cancer was or what the thing about it was, but you understood that I was not myself. And I was super grateful that you guys were as good as you were. So do you want to talk about some things that you felt during that time, or if you remember any of it? Noah's got roommates, guys. If you can hear that, it's because Noah has roommates. If you can't hear it, good. Boys will be boys. I know that you
Okay.
want to talk, like, you did, you wrote it, you won a thing, but let's talk about, like, any other, like, do you have any other, like, memories of it?
I think the biggest one was when you had to shave your head.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Um, I think that was definitely an adjustment. I don't know. I think that it's hard. Not that anybody ever said anything. Not that anybody ever really like talked about it from like my age. It was like, oh, your mom is sick, like your mom has cancer, like, and like ever poked fun at that. But I definitely think that from my perspective, it was one of the things when we did shave your hair, it was definitely an adjustment. We would walk around town and you were that person that didn't give a care.
No, I didn't give a
Like
shit.
you weren't you're like, I'm not wearing a wig. I'm only wearing a hat because my head is cold. But if I don't have to, I'm not going to. Like I just don't care. Like you
Yeah.
just owned it, right?
Yeah.
And as like now my age that I am, I'm like, as you should pop off.
Yeah.
But when I was 8, there was definitely an adjustment. I'm like,
Are people looking at my mama?
are people looking at my one part of it was that like I was always that in protective mode.
Yes.
For starters, I was always do not say anything about this.
Right.
But then also as an 8 and 9-year-old, it's kind of hard to not think those things yourself. Like, oh, my mom kind of looks funny right now. It's different, it's normal.
Yeah.
And that's something that we need to address as well. As like that topic is normal.
Yes.
It's normal for your children to potentially look at that and be like, oh, what's wrong? Like,
Yeah.
nothing about that just seems off. We take these normals of, okay, most females have long hair, most guys have short hair.
Yeah.
When
And when
all
you
of a
have
sudden,
no hair.
when you have no hair, it's just it's an adjustment. So I think
Yeah.
that was something that definitely had like a very slight impact
Yeah.
on me. But
I think
I obviously got used to it.
Yeah.
That first month, I was like, something about this just seems off.
Let's with certain cancers you can lose your hair. And my whole theory on it, and Noah hit the nail on the head, not the bald head, but the head.
That's the dumbest joke. It's such a bad joke.
It was, I
Yeah.
refused to wake up with hair on my pillow, and I knew my hair was going to fall out. So I said, you know what? This is what's happening. I'm taking control of this moment. In this situation where I can't control anything, this is the one thing that I can control, and I will do that. And so I chose to shave my head. My hair hadn't.
She had a party.
Yep. My hair hadn't started falling out yet, and I didn't want it to be that way. So we had a party. All of my friends came and their kids. And I was like, anybody that was close to me that I knew was this was going to have an impact on, I said, come on over. We're doing this on this day. I want you to be there. I want you to see how it happens. All of you kids got to cut some of my hair off, which was so great because
I honestly think that I was the first person.
Yeah, because you were the youngest, probably. Like you and Tabby, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you were first and Tabby, yeah. And then all
I
the
was
kids
like, this is weird, bro.
Yeah. But I
think
wanted
that Tiffany actually like showed me how to do it, and then I did it.
I think it was somebody else that did my hair.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure that everybody had a hand in it, and it was something that we were all going through together, which was basically how the whole journey went anyway. That was a really great thing. I'm glad you brought that up, Noah. I never did recognize how that affected you guys.
I
But
don't think it was that big of a deal.
yeah, no,
Like,
but that's okay.
but I think that, something that
Yeah, for
was
sure.
there.
Yeah.
And then the other thing with it was just like obviously your energy level and the
Yeah.
energy that you gave off like prior to getting treatment and stuff,
Right.
and the energy that was there after treatment, it was definitely an adjustment.
Sure.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Definitely was difficult to not be that 8-year-old self after treatment, right? It was, hey, my mom just needs to rest. Go figure out how to like take care of yourself for a little
Yeah.
bit. It was, you need help with something, maybe figure it out yourself.
I
Like,
remember I had a hard time holding my head up sometimes.
yeah. And I always remember like asking for help with homework or like do it was just saying, hey, can we go do something? And it was always not right now. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, just like not right now. And obviously, again, valid, but that was an adjustment too. I think that I kind of started to learn a little bit of independence just for
Yeah.
how to begin to, okay, somebody else isn't available. Maybe let's either go find somebody else who might be, or put it off, or just do it yourself.
And I think you and Tabby relied on each other a lot.
100%. Yeah. I remember asking Tabby to help me with a lot of things.
Yep.
And then I think it's also where a lot of my bedside manner came from. And so where it started to get me interested in healthcare.
Yeah.
And Tabby will agree with me, not dogging on her at all. I am way more patient than she is when it comes to people
Yeah.
that need help.
Yeah.
We've
But
had
she
those
was always very
conversations.
good with you with your allergies and stuff. But
She was.
yeah, you definitely have more patience than that's absolutely. Yeah.
So whenever you needed anything, I was always,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
And I think that plays a large role in where I'm at now, because I always talk
Yeah.
about with my preceptor, I'm like, how can I help? Like, just give me a task, let
Yeah.
me do things. How can I? And I think that a lot of that stemmed from
Cool.
this moment.
That's
So
awesome.
I don't know if
That's
that's true or not, but I feel like it
You
could
feel
have
like it.
played
Yeah,
a,
for sure.
because
That's
I feel like
awesome.
that's the first moment in our lives that like
Yes.
had major implications on taking care of somebody.
And shaping who you were going to become, because those moments, you don't realize it when you're that young, but as you get older, you do. The moments that shape you.
The moments that shape you are either big or small, but you start to notice.
Yeah. So let's talk about that writing contest you won.
Big Dobbs. Big Dobbs. I remember the theme was superheroes,
Yes.
and I was in 5th grade.
So this was like a year after it happened.
Yeah, yeah. And so I remember writing like a short story. The prompt was, "Who is your biggest hero? What does a superhero look like to you?"
Yep.
Something along those lines. You know how we win these things? I'll tell you how. We hit them where it hurts, right at the heart, and really get those tear jerker emotions going.
Yep.
And so I wrote a story, and mom was the main character in the story about what were you, Chemo Girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, the character was Chemo Girl. And then the villains there were 2 villains in it. There was a sidekick. There was like, I don't know, something along the lines of like Chemo and like Cancer Boy and
I thought it was Germ Boy or something like that.
no, I don't
Oh,
remember. It wasn't Germ Boy, but and then I went into this, used that as my base, came up with her superpowers. I said cucumbers were her superpower that gave her strength and healed quickly.
yeah.
She used ginger back then. There was a lot of
Oh, that's
essential
right.
oils. Ginger was her extra power, and I don't even remember what it does, but
Yeah.
used
Ginger's
all the
good
cute
for
things.
nausea.
Yeah, nausea. That's what it was. Yes. Anyways, made this cute little story up, wrote it, and then put a nice pink background behind it. Used pink letter. I don't know, it looked cool.
Yeah.
But I submitted it, and then I remember that we went to the fair. We were like 30 to 40 minutes late to this
Yeah.
because we were never on time to anything. And I walked in and I saw a nice little first place ribbon off my poster.
Yeah.
I wanted my first notebook or like my first journal.
Yeah.
That's kind of when I started getting into the art. Thought it was cool having this
Yeah. I was so
blue
proud of you.
journal. I actually still have that. It's in my treasure chest back home.
Nice. Yeah. I was so proud of you. It was a sweet moment. I was so proud of you.
I
Thank you
think
for,
that, I think you wrote that for me, to be honest.
I did not. Thank you for allowing me to be your superhero. That was kind of our journey through it. And as I look back on that now, we did a couple of years of Relay for Life, which was fun because we got to do that with friends and bring more awareness to a really great cause. So that was awesome. And I'm so grateful for wonderful friends. They threw me a party after I I had my last chemo and stuff like that. That was awesome. I will say this, as a cancer survivor, you never stop worrying. It's always at the forefront of your mind that it could come back, that it could hit in a different way, that it's, it's just this constant thing that's always there. Do I harp on it 24 hours a day? No, but it's still there. It's still there.
I mean, you also still have that reminder every day. So,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
I'm grateful for the journey. It taught me a lot. It taught me resiliency. It taught me about what it is to be grateful for the things that you have. I'm definitely more grateful now. I was grateful before, but I'm sure as hell more grateful now. I'm grateful for this life that I have. I'm grateful for 2 beautiful children, and I'm grateful for a husband that stood by me 100% of the way. I mean, you guys were my rocks, and I had wonderful friends that helped me through it, and I couldn't have done it without them. And my family was amazing. It taught me a lot, and
It
I'm
taught her to
grateful.
be a dog.
A dog.
Dog.
Purr. And it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so please check your boobies.
Facts.
Get your
Even
mammogram.
men. Even men.
Even men, check your boobies and get your mammograms.
Age of what, 25?
It's 40, I think it is.
Oh.
But if you are
Isn't like if you're a daughter or something?
So if you're a survivor and then you have a daughter, your daughter has to start having her mammograms 10 years earlier than when you got diagnosed. I was diagnosed at 39. Abby has to start having hers at 29. Mine was a happy ending, is a happy ending for now.
Be a happy
And
ending.
continue to be. But not all cancer stories have happy endings. And one of the ones that for us that doesn't have a happy ending was losing my mama, right? And so my mom passed away in October, actually, this month. So it was October 16th of 2018.
I knew October 16th had a
So
significant
that was,
date.
yeah. So that was 7 years ago, and she had pancreatic cancer, and she lived 2 years with pancreatic cancer, which is crazy.
Like stage 4 too, or stage 3?
Yeah, she had stage 4. Yeah. This was kind of probably the first time that kids had to deal with loss in that. And I think that we don't like to talk about cancer in that, but it kind of fit together with what we were talking about. So we decided we were going to talk about this a little bit. And
Hold on,
then
I need to go put on a purple sweatshirt now.
6 months after my mom passed away, Tabby and Noah's other grandma, my husband's mother, passed away unexpectedly suddenly. It was heavy. Like that was a heavy freaking 6 months.
Yeah, just a little bit.
We thought we would talk about loss and grief and what it does to you. And so I would say that Tabby and Noah were really, really close to both of their grandmothers, but they were closer to my mom. I think that that's fair to say. Is that correct? Yeah. So as a, 14-year-old was that when you were 14?
I was 14, yeah.
When they both passed away.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. So how was that something you dealt with?
I didn't.
You didn't.
I don't think that I ever accepted that.
You didn't.
I think that that's not true. I think I accepted that, but I didn't believe that. I didn't want to understand that like that thought process. One of my biggest things that I'll tell everybody, and I've never lied to anybody about this, is you start to say, for people that are, are religious, or even just maybe not really super religious, but have, a relationship with God. When you pray, you ask for things and you say thank you for things, all the above, right? And with Grammy, when she got sick, it was always help her get better, help her get better, help her get better, right?
Yeah.
And 2 years go by and she's just not getting better. She's just staying the same, progressively getting worse.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch somebody go through that pain, can't do anything because they're always sick.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's not something that you ever want to watch or see or have to experience. So for me, it got to the point, instead of saying keep her around and help her get better, it was take her from me, let me deal with the grief and heal her from her sickness.
Yeah.
And at 14, I don't know if that's something that I'm supposed to say. I don't know if that's something I at 14 felt like the devil for even thinking that. I felt like a horrible human for even beginning to say, yeah, take one of my most loved family members away from me.
Right.
Right? I mean, who wants to say that? Nobody.
No.
But I was emotionally mature enough then to recognize the situation at hand and understanding that she wasn't getting better.
Right.
It only came down to how much longer is she going to be around for? With stage 4 pancreatic cancer progressively getting like deteriorating, once it really hit and how she started deteriorating as quickly as she did, it
Right.
wasn't something that she was recovering from. We just knew it was a matter of time.
Yeah. I think the first year, like from I think it was 2016, 2017, wasn't terrible. We didn't
No,
see a decline really badly. They came to visit, like she came to visit in 2017.
obviously she
Um,
wasn't
gr
entirely herself,
no.
but
Yeah.
it
And
wasn't
then
as bad as it became.
right. It wasn't until like the beginning of 2018, she passed away October 2018, but I would say January, February that we started seeing that real deterioration.
Yeah.
And
And you
for
could see in
us,
her face and see it, like,
yeah.
in her
Yeah,
nutrition
because
and, like
we FaceTimed her all the time. It's interesting because you kind of go into denial stage. You go into the
mhm,
denial. Oh, it's not that bad. I remember not even recognizing that she looked different. I went in September, she got very, very sick, and I actually thought she was gonna pass away then, and I went back east to see her because my brother and my stepdad were like, "You need to come here," and I wasn't until then that I recognized how deteriorated she was, and I was like,
that was the last time that I ever saw her,
"Yes,
was on FaceTime then,
yes,"
'cause
because I
I couldn't.
yeah, and I wouldn't let use at that time anymore.
No.
I was like, "No." And I that's the last picture I have of her, and I'm like, "Holy shit. What the fuck
Yeah.
was I thinking? Like,
I
why did
actually looked at that picture the other day because we took a FaceTime screenshot.
I was like, "Holy fuck."
Yeah.
I just didn't put it just didn't it just didn't it just didn't register with me.
Mhm.
Um, so and I was in the same boat as you, like, thinking the exact same thing, like, you know, I mean, and maybe we had conversations about it, I don't really remember.
You and I hadn't.
Yeah, and so
That was something that I kept to myself until after the fact.
right. I just don't think that anybody that has cancer that is suffering should suffer. I just think it's such a deteriorating illness, and
It's
it's
so hard on everybody. It's not like obviously it's way harder
brutal.
than the person
Brutal on
that's
the
it's
person.
like yeah, but I mean, you're lying to yourself if you say that
Yeah.
it's not hard on you.
No. Yeah.
This is the moment that for me I started to not feel my emotions the way that I used to.
That's a really good point because you used to be very, very, very emotional as a kid,
Mhm.
and I do remember that switch coming on to you saying, "Okay," and this changed you. Talk about that.
Yeah, this moment really changed me. Um, this was easily the hardest thing that I've ever experienced in my life, other than obviously episode 3 that we already talked about. Up until 14 years through my junior and senior year of high school, this was easily the number one thing that had a large impact on me emotionally. I used to be the most like emotional kid. I felt my emotions. Everything made me cry. Really let my emotions out on my sleeve. And I still wear my emotions on my sleeve. It's just not
Different.
the way that it's just different than it used to be. I remember getting the call late at night that she had passed and Tabby just broke down. My mom was crying. I think my dad was in his your guys' room just crying. And I just kind of went, hmm, okay, okay. Why am I not crying? Why am I just sitting here? And I don't know. It just didn't happen. I didn't cry for another maybe 30 minutes at that point. I just
Yeah.
accepted. I was just sitting there. Like, well, that sucks. That blows.
Yeah.
And I remember I have cried twice about her passing since I heard the news.
Yeah.
I cried once the other day, actually. Fun fact. Once the other day, and about later that night that I found out.
Yeah. I
And it's just
think
one of those things that it resonates with me. I'm hella sad. I'm not going to
of
deny that.
course.
Like me not crying. It was the first time that I ever said to myself, am I broken? Am I broken? I'm
Yeah.
not crying like everybody else is.
But the answer is no. You are not broken. How you handle your emotions does not matter. You are going to handle your emotions your own way. You're going to deal with grief in your own way, and
Right.
nobody, absolutely nobody, can take that from you or tell you how to
Right.
grieve. Nobody. We all
Yeah.
do it in our own ways, and every way that it is done is okay. That's
Right.
the most important thing, and that was always the most important thing for me with you. I never ever wanted you to feel like you had to have your emotions in a certain way. And I was like, this is how he's dealing with it. That is just great. Like, it's
Right.
you. It's yours.
Because at that moment, I stopped crying. And people always laugh at me. Like I tell them, I just don't cry. It's not that I don't want to. It takes a lot for me to really let it out.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, we found out that grandma passed away unexpectedly. And same thing. I cried. I sat there and went, actually, that's not even true. The way that I found out about that one is a little bit different. I had a baseball game and I looked over, I was getting ready to go hit. I looked over and I saw dad on the phone and I saw you smile and then go back to frown and like you trying to keep your guys' selves composed. But I could very easily tell that you guys were
Not okay.
off.
Yeah.
I just felt it. And dad picked me up from school and he's like, when he talked, and I looked at him and said, grandma passed away. He didn't even say a word. Like I just knew. And he's like, what? And I was like, grandma passed away, didn't she? And he's like, how'd you know? Who told you? And I was like, oh wait, are you dead serious right now? And he's like, yeah, who told you? I was like, nobody.
He was probably
And he's like,
crying.
I mean, he wasn't at the moment. Like he's like, we need to talk.
Yeah.
I actually have to go to her house right now. Do you want to come in? And I was like, no, I'm good.
Nope.
I think you take care of this. I'm
You
good.
got
And I
this.
sat in the car and I looked up, and this was the first time that I then was mad at God,
Yeah. Taking both your grandmas.
taking both of them within the same year.
Yeah.
I looked up, I screamed and said, why did you do this to me? And then I started crying.
Yeah.
And then about 3 minutes later, I stopped crying and I just sat there and went, this blows. Dad got back in the car and we drove home. He told me everything that happened. I never used to curse, but in my mind, I was literally going, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
I genuinely. And
Yeah.
so I think that those two moments really just hit me with the whole aspect of, I hate this feeling. I don't know. I don't understand this feeling. Don't bother me.
Yeah.
And then I just went to my room and I just sat there and I think you guys tried to come in and talk. And I was like, no, I don't really want to do this
Want
right
to
now.
talk about it? Yeah. And
I
that
was
was
like,
okay.
and it took me a long time to get to where I felt like I could talk
Could
about
talk
it.
about it for sure. I unfortunately have more um, loss in my life than you do.
Right.
I'm sad that you have what you have, but I'm grateful that you don't have as much as I have.
Yeah, you have a lot.
Yeah. My dad passed away when I was 19, and my best friend passed away when I was 31. We were 31. She was 31 right before Noah died, and she never got to meet him.
Noah was born. Noah didn't die.
I said died.
Yeah, I promise I'm alive.
Oh my God. Sorry. Noah,
No, you're fine.
he passed away a month and a half before Noah was born.
There we go. There we go. No, you're good. I was just like, I promise I'm not a ghost.
No, he's not. So, and that one hit me for a loop. My dad was the worst. Anne Marie hit me for a loop.
Yep.
That was my bestie. And then my mom, Grammy. At least we had an idea. Like,
Right.
Grandma was
So
a surprise one. And then Nanny recently.
those unexpected really.
Yeah. And just last year, we lost my dear friend Emily to cancer as well. So, like I said, I'm grateful that you don't have as much as I have, and but you have more than I did at your age. How we all process grief is very different, and it's okay how we do that. I rarely cry about my dad anymore. Rarely. My daddy, the memories of my daddy are always wonderful. Like, talk about him with sincere love, and I can talk about him and be happy and smile. And there's a lot about my dad's passing that I'm grateful for. So I talk about that all the time. I truly feel like if my dad hadn't passed away, I wouldn't have done nearly the things that I've done in my life because I was such a daddy's girl. Him passing away gave me the opportunity to do the things that I did. I never would have left New York. Never would have left New York if my dad was still there.
Then I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's right. And
I'm the coolest.
so I do feel like everything has its reason and has its place, right?
Right.
I'm still confused about Anne Marie, but it is what it is.
I think that that's one of those things where you're always going to be confused.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's something that you ponder and you question, but I do want to reiterate real quick on, and not to truly interrupt,
No, you're good.
but when I earlier said that I was mad at God, not anymore. I've accepted that I've trusted his plan, and I do get that he has a plan for all of us and that things
Yeah.
happen for a reason. I think that it's one of those things where it's completely understandable to be
Yeah.
mad and to be angry and to not understand and to honestly not even accept. I think that's kind of where these whole be confused, right? I think that's kind of where all this thought process of like the stages of grief come from, right? You are confused. It's like, it doesn't make sense, especially with dealing with loss. But don't be mad forever. It doesn't carrying those burdens and those grudges don't resonate well with you. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's true. I look back on them now, and obviously Emily is the newest one. But loss is a part of life. It's always going to be there. It's just moving through the motions of it. I do say it gets better, but sometimes it doesn't. the thing for me about Anne Marie is that she had a whole life to live, right? She was 31. She was newly married and hadn't had the opportunity to have kids, didn't have the opportunity to get to know you and your sister. And her mom actually passed away, a few years before that. And it's a part of life, a sad, sad, sad part of life. And how we deal with it is all up to ourselves. And how you deal with it is different than how I deal with it. And how Noah deals with it is different than how Tabby deals with it. And it's all okay. It's all okay. Do you have anything else to say, Noah?
I don't.
Well, I will say this. I hope this episode has brought a little bit of insight to some people. I am really grateful for the opportunity to share my breast cancer journey with you all and to explore how we handle grief, and that talking about grief and those kinds of things are normal. And it's okay to talk about them. It doesn't matter who you are, mother, son, dad, whoever. It doesn't matter, friends. If somebody has something they want to talk about, like, it's okay. Let's talk about it. Let's make them all normal. Let's normalize everything.
Is there?
So anyway, we've gone a little long today, but it was some really great topics that we got to talk about. And we're grateful for you guys, and we're grateful for our listeners, and I'm sure grateful for wonderful kids. Noah, you want to take us out?
Appreciate y'all. We really appreciate the listens. Keep giving us the likes, follows, subscribes.
Yeah.
If this episode resonated with you, share with someone who's navigating illness or grief. Maybe it can help them a little bit too. Also, lastly, yes, my mom is my gentle anchor. Our 12-year cancer.
Chemo girls.
Chemo girl.
Gentle anchor.
Yes, chemo girl is my gentle anchor. Our 12-year survivor. So claps all around for that.
Thank you.
But your gentle anchor can be anybody that offers you safety and understanding. What matters is normalizing these conversations and feeling heard. So the next time that you feel the need to share something, just be open and honest with that gentle anchor of your own. All it takes is one person to listen.
Yep. So we appreciate you guys, and every voice needs a safe harbor. Until next time, stay anchored in connection. Thanks, guys.
Gentle disclaimer. This podcast is a space for personal reflection, honest conversation, and emotional curiosity, not professional advice. Michele and Noah aren't therapists, just a mother and son exploring what feels true in their own lives. What they share is rooted in personal experience, and they trust listeners to take what resonates and leave the rest. Stay anchored in your own truth.